Many beginner golfers fear getting out of the sand trap because it is a very difficult shot in golf, but it doesn't have to be. In this video, I'm going to share with you some helpful tips that you can remember and use out there on the course when you hit those greenside bunkers. So in order to hit this greenside bunker shot correctly, you need to begin with the proper setup. What you're going to want to do is make sure that you have an open setup to your target. So you're going to be left of your target. Your feet, hips, shoulders, all of that's going to be open to the target, or slightly left of the target if you're a right-handed golfer. You're going to want to make sure that you plant your feet firmly in the sand trap. Get a good wiggle waggle down in there. Make sure that you're nice and solid and firmly planted in the sand so that you can make a good strike at the ball. Make sure that you've got a good knee bend, okay? You want it more than a normal golf shot. That's going to give you some good stability in the actual bunker itself. And then you want to make sure that you've got 55 to 70% of your weight on your front or lead foot. This is going to help ensure that you don't hit behind the ball or try to hit up on the ball and blade the ball across the green, which happens a lot. Then you're going to want to choke up on the club about an inch and a half, something like that. That should be sufficient for this hit. Now when you position the club to the ball, you want to make sure that your hands are not forward of the ball or behind the ball. You want them to be straight on and even with the ball. So you want a good club position. Make sure that your hands are not too far forward of the actual ball. The next thing you want to do is to make sure that you hit about an inch or so behind the ball. Now this is some pretty fluffy sand, so we're going to have to take a lot of it to actually move the ball up and out of the sand trap. And I want you to understand that when you're hitting a bunker shot, you're not actually hitting the ball. What you're doing is hitting the sand, and the sand is going to carry the ball up out of the sand trap. If you guys are enjoying this video, then make sure that you smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. Why is there a wire in the sand trap? So to reiterate the idea of actually hitting the sand and having that carry the ball up out of the sand trap, I want to show you what I mean. When you're practicing to get out of a greenside bunker, I want you to take and draw a line behind your ball. The fluffier the sand, the further the line needs to be from behind the ball. If the sand is real hard packed when it's wet outside, you don't need to take as much sand to get the ball up out of the bunker. So this is pretty fluffy today, it's pretty dry. So I'm about an inch and a half behind the ball. And the idea is, as you're coming down with your open club face and your open stance, you're going to hit that line and take that line out, and then you're going to carry the ball up and out of the bunker. So that pillow we talked about earlier, you'd actually be carrying the ball with a pillow of sand and throwing it up on the green, as opposed to just hitting the ball directly with the club like that. So make sure that you're doing that when you practice. Draw a line behind, practice taking that line out with your club and throwing the ball up onto the green. So now that we've got that down, we've got our open stance, we've got our club face opened up quite a bit, we've got our grip on the club, we're choked down about an inch and a half, we've got our feet firmly planted in the sand, of course, we are open to target. We're going to take an inch of sand, or maybe 2 inches of sand behind, depending on how fluffy it is, and then we're going to make sure that we take a nice full swing. Make sure that you don't come down and stop at the ball, because then it's not going to go anywhere. You got to make sure that you are committing to that swing, that you're coming back and you're following all the way through, so that that ball really gets up and out of the sand trap. Let's see what that looks like. There's one other bit of information that you guys need to know. The professional golfers, the best golfers in the world, only get out of a bunker 50% of the time. So when those pros land in a greenside bunker, they are only completing a decent shot out of that bunker 50% of the time. The other 50%, they don't make it out of the bunker. Make sure you remember that when you guys go out to practice these shots and play in your rounds. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep on swinging.